Okay, in the previous exercises, we checked how the users can be given access to particular carrier ID. So in one role we checked for Singapore Airlines, for another role we checked for American Airlines, and for one particular user we gave access to two different roles. That is, Demo02 has access to American Airlines as well as the Singapore Airlines. But in every company or any ERP system, there has to be some users who need to have access to all of them at one go. So in that case, we need to give them a blanket access so that they can view all the airlines no matter where it is originating from. So in such cases where you want to give one or couple of users whole access to the entire output of the CDS, in such case you need to create another PFCG role and assign that role to that users. Let us check how we can do it. Before we create the PFCG role for all the care ID, I would like to show a user who doesn't have access to the CDS view at all. So if I go here, this user is user SAP Yard 017. So I'll just add a package and then I will say ZSY. It is in this package, and then I will open the CDS which we have been testing in this training. So if I open this CDS view and if I try to do F8 or do a preview, you will see that this user does not have access to any data at all because this user has not been assigned to any of the roles which we have created till now. But let us assume that he is a super boss or the admin who needs rights to view all the care ID no matter where it originates from. So for such users, we have to create a special role in PFCG and assign that role to this user ID. Let's do it. So this will be our third exercise in PFCG. So we will be super fast now. So we go to transaction PFCG and we give a role name. Say we say gCareID all. That means he has access to all. Create a single role and then give some description. All, okay, role for all care ID. Okay, and then I go to authorization. It will ask to save. Okay, we save it. I go and change authorization data. You just check the green box. We'll select do not select template, and then we'll hit the manually add the authorization objects. Our authorization object is GFLI country. I say okay. Now I need to give the values. So I click on this pencil in activity and I'll give display access to the user. And here, since we want to give access to all the airline codes, I can go here and then select all the checkboxes. So I can select all the checkboxes. It is not many, so I can do it. But if there's like 100 or 200 or 500, so you do not want to select everything. So in those cases, when we want to give a blanket access, we can just give a star. Alright, so that means it covers everything. So here if you see, both are green. So we have display access for the airline code star. Star means everything. Now let's generate the profile. Okay, a new profile. This is a new profile. Profile for role gCareID underscore all gets created. Now we move back. We will see that this profile has been created and we have one last step, that is to add a user to this role. I go to the users tab. I give SAP Yard, so it was 17, the username. I hit enter. I need to hit this user comparison, so do not forget that. You must save the role. Okay, please save it, and then hit this complete comparison. So the profile comparison is successful, and then if you see here, both of them are green. I'll just save this. I'll come out and I will double check one more time. So if you see, the role is ready and the authorization and users are all green. Now let us go back to the ADT in Eclipse and then try to test the same CDS. So earlier we got no data. Now let's go and test the same user. The user is SAPR17. We are testing the same CDS without making any change in the CDS. We just change the PFCG role. Now if I hit F8, voila, you see that all the care IDs are visible to this user. Why? Because this user has been assigned the role which has given it access to all care ID. And how is that possible? Is because we have this access control. In that access control we have this PFCG. In this PFCG we have this authorization object which is assigned to that PFCG role, and in the field country we have given star. So therefore, when this access control is hit, it will check whether this authorization object is being provided to that role. Yes, the role was given this authorization object. Then it checks whether the field value has been assigned or not. Yes, the field value has been assigned and it is not restricted to any particular field. Instead, it has a star, and then display is 03. So we have display. Therefore, this particular user, when he runs this CDS or executes the CDS or does a data preview, he can see all the data. I hope with these 3 exercises on the PFCG roles, you are more or less clear on how the PFCG works. Also, PFCG is not the key. It is the authorization object which does all the magic. PFCG is just a placeholder, but the authorization object with the fields, the display field and the care ID field, they do all the tricks. Now there can be more complex situations where a particular user needs to be given access to, say, one continent. So in such cases also you can create a special or a new PFCG role and then just assign those airlines which is eligible for that continent, and then assign that user. So that user will have all the access to the data of that continent. So let me revise one more time what we did in the authorization object. In the authorization object, in the PFCG role, when we hit this display, this is all where the magic happens. So the whatever you add in this airline code, only those airlines will be visible, and those will be visible to the users who have been granted this PFCG role. And say if you want to know what are the different roles assigned to a particular user, you can go to the T code SU01D or SU01 and go to a display, and then you can go to this tab roles. So this particular user ID demo02, this has, let's go to the PFCG roles which we assigned. So we have assigned Z care ID all and all these other custom roles along with all the standard roles which is coming by default. Okay, so if you want to see the roles assigned to any users, you just go to SU01 or SU01D. So you might not have access to SU01 in many cases. In that case, you go to SU01D and then hit enter and go to display and then see the roles. So this will give you all the roles which the user has been granted.